Reverend Neal, pulpit constituents, bereaved family, to all of you friends and people who loved Sister Love. Before I get started, Sister Connie asked me to make sure that I pointed out to you that are here the easels that are to your right and my left, because they are pictures of various programs that Doris put on while she was here, and she wanted me to make sure that you were aware of that. Now, as to Doris, on a personal note, the thing that stands out in my mind about Doris Lee Love is that she was a supportive person, particularly where I was involved. The reason I say that, I have had occasions here at the church and elsewhere where I've been on program or where I was the recipient of some recognition or honor. Most of the time, the members were not there to lend support, but I tell you, Doris Love was. She was present at my family musicals. I gave a family musical here in 1984 and another in 1994. Doris was sitting right there, which was her usual seat anyway. She was sitting right there to support me. She was always present at my annual WMU President's Appreciation Day. A short while ago, I had published a book of original poems that I had written. Now, very few members purchased a copy of that book, but Doris Lee Love did. In 2009, I had the privilege of being honored by the Gamma Phi Delta sorority at their Mother's Appreciation Awards luncheon. Most members did not attend. In fact, as I remember, none did, except Doris Lee Love. When I was going through bereavement, doorbell rang. Who showed up at the door with a pot? And I don't mind saying what it was, because we laughed about it even recently. Doris bought over, she said, "Wanda, I bought over a pot of butter beans." And they were swinging too. Supportive. I can never forget or fail to appreciate that kind of support. And unless you've been in that kind of a situation, you may never know what it means, but it meant the world to me. And now, on a spiritual note, I can see examples of Doris in certain biblical personalities. For example, if you read about Anna, the prophetess, whose story was told in the 2nd chapter of the book of Luke, Anna was a prayer warrior. It says that she prayed daily. Like Anna, Doris was a prayer warrior. If you read about Hannah, the mother of Samuel, her story is told in the book that bears her son's name, in the book of Samuel. Hannah was a devoted mother, as was Doris Lee Love. Like the woman with the issue of blood that we read about in the book of Luke, Doris was a woman of faith. And like Martha, whom we read about in the 10th chapter of Luke, Doris was also a homemaker. We read that story about Martha. It's told in the 11th chapter of St. John. And without retelling the entire story, I want to say this. I'll just say that Mary and Martha, her sister, Mary and Martha were sisters, and they were friends of Jesus. And in their time of distress, in their time of bereavement, they did what we and what Doris would do. And that is, they called for their friend Jesus. On his arrival, verse 28 of the 11th chapter of St. John, on his arrival, Martha looked out, and here's what she proclaimed to her sister. She said, "Mary, the Master is come, and he calleth for thee." Well, on December 28th, the master called for Doris Lee Love. But thank God, she was well prepared to answer his call. She'd been serving him for a long time. But he said unto her, you've endured enough sickness. You've borne enough trials. You've labored long enough in the vineyard. So come on up. And so, family, I just want to tell you, advise you, take up the charge. You that are left here, prepare yourselves as Doris did. Be prepared when he gives you the call, be prepared to answer.
My name is Dr. Sidonia Wilson. Doris and I became bonded with each other when we attended a meeting that Mr. Scales' mother was giving. She was going to be in concert at the Green Room in San Francisco. And so Doris and I met at that time, and she was such a wonderful person. Wonderful, wonderful personality, always giving, loving to her friends and everyone else. She loved people. She truly loved her children, and she loved her church. And when I served as women's ministry president, when I'd invite her over, she'd come to workshops and what have you. We had our church and other kinds of activities, concerts and what have you. She'd invite me over here, and I'd come over here to see what she was doing. And we just became very close friends. And we did social activities together. She'd cook. She was a wonderful cook. And she'd always invite me and another friend that I introduced to her. Her name is Marjorie Reed. We all became very close friends. And then we attended a special celebration for Amelia Ashley Ward, who's the president of the Sun Reporter event. And I told Doris about it, and she wanted to come. Not only did she come, but she brought all of her children who were here because she believed in exposing them to outstanding things that were happening in our community. She attended that event, and the children loved it tremendously. Doris and I also served on community activities, Black women organized for political action. And Doris remained a member of that for a number of years. She was really, truly a friend of mine. I loved her dearly. I loved her. I went over to see her just a day or so after Christmas, and we sat there and talked. And we just really enjoyed each other's company. And I was coming back later another time. But God saw it differently. And Doris was truly a Christian woman. And so I know she's in heaven. And I want to say to the family that you know you can call on me, Connie, and the rest of you, whenever you need me for something. I really, truly mean it. And please don't hesitate to do that, because your mother was truly a friend of mine, and I was a friend of hers. Thank you.
To the family, to Pastor Neal, and to Reverend Batten. I am Alta Faye Reagans. I serve as the St. John District Matron's President. And Sister Love and Connie, we worked very close together for many years. And Sister Love, the name is so befitting to her because you could feel the love from her when she entered the room. A gloomy day, she would just light it up. When she and Connie and Lauren, when they would smile, the smile was just contagious. You know, it just seemed like the room would come alive when they were in any meeting that we were having during our annual session. And Sister Love and Connie is such a great support to me. You wouldn't believe no matter what event we were having. And Connie and I would correspond. She would call, and she said, Alta, we can't make it, but we're going to support. And a few days later, there was support in the mail. You know, it's always a pleasure for me to have strong support because when you are a president of anything, when you don't have the support, it's just like lonely. You just call this person and ask that person. But when Connie and Sister Love know that there's something going on, that was one thing that I could count on to make me feel a little bit more uplifting. Connie, you know you and I have spoke. You know that I love you, and you know that I'm in Sacramento now, 82 miles away to get to you if you need me. Sure. But I want you all to continue to pray for me, and I will continue to pray for you that we continue to on this journey that Christ has, you know, put in our path. And the family, you all continue to be strong, and I love you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. There are countless stories I can say about my grandmother, countless hilarious stories. Just as her grandchild growing up with all of my family, and 2761 Pine Street that was where it all started for us. I tried to write something out, but if anyone knew my grandmother, you knew how she taught. You knew that she didn't like no run-on sentences. You knew that she would want you to get up here and speak and pause and look at the audience and engage. But I just want to say to my family and her closest friends and everyone that knew her, Grandma gave us so much at the best of her life. At the best of her time, she instilled in us and taught us so much. And at the end of her time, we gave her our best. Everyone that supported, came and helped, assisted her, called, sent cards, everything that we gave her at the best of our time in the end. And I'm gonna miss my grandmother dearly, and just keep our family in prayer. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Reverend Batten. To our pastor, Pastor Neal, to the family and friends. As an officer of this church, I must say a word to the family and friends on behalf of Sister Love. She was a beautiful lady. She loved the Lord, and she loved her family. She really loved her family. Oftentimes, certain times of the year, the pastor will ask if anyone would like to testify. Sister Love would not waste any time. She would get up on the floor. She wasn't ashamed. She was not ashamed to speak for God and to her family. Pastor, she would speak. She would talk and ask the church to pray for her family. She often would ask the church to pray for her family. Keep her family in prayer. That tells me that she really loved the Lord, and she loved her family. She loved the church. She really loved Macedonia. She just couldn't wait. She would be sitting over here where Sister Stewart is sitting. A lot of Sunday after she wasn't able to sing in the choir, she would sit over there where Sister Stewart is sitting now. And I would go over and shake her hand. She could not wait to see me come in to shake her hand. She always had a beautiful smile on her face. I never seen her frown. Some people, you meet them with a frown. Sister Love always had a beautiful smile. Always had that beautiful smile. Never had that frown on her face. That tells me something. Let your light so shine. Let your light so shine. This is the last thing I'm going to say. I remember one Sunday, we was out to fellowship with, I believe, Friendship Church over here on Oak Street. And she and Sister Love and two of her daughters came up and got in the choir stand. And I don't know if the choir was invited or not, but she was there and two of her daughters in the choir stand. And this brother here, Brother Scale, when Macedonia was called to give a A and B selection, Brother Scale said, he stood and said, we're going to do a congregation number. And boy, the church was on fire. The number that he gave, the church was on fire. And Sister Love, it surprised me. She was ready to do a duet or something. You know, she was ready. She was ready. She was the only person in the choir, she and two of her daughters. And was on. I probably would have took the front seat. I don't know if I came in the choir stand, just me and, but anyway, she was there. She loved the Lord, and she loved the church. I'm sorry to take up all your time, but to the family, stay strong and stay with the Lord. Sister Lord will love that. May God bless you and keep you.
The angel has gone home. My friend, first of all, bear with me, please. First, giving honor to God, to my love family, and you notice I said my love family because that's what they are, my family. The angel without the wings has flown to glory. The queen without the crown is sitting on the throne in glory. I have been in the Love family for 45 years. And you notice I've said I've been in the Love family for 45 years. I met Doris Love in 1972. And when I met Doris Love, I did not meet a stranger. I met a friend. When she walked into a room, it lights up with her smile. And if you have a frown, when she left, you have a smile. And if you have a smile on your face, you're laughing when she left. Doris Love and I got so close in 45 years. You know, a friendship is like a marriage. You have to work on it. And there's ups and downs and ins and outs. But Doris Love was the kind of woman that you could talk to. The communication line was always open. And you could iron out your differences. And my family, the daughters and the sons, the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, you are going to have some hard days. I grant you. Because the woman body that's in that casket was so special. She treated her friends special. And God was always first in her life. And then came her family. So family, this is the time for you to bind together and support each other, because together we stand and divided we fall. And I'm going to miss my friend. I'm going to miss her. But she will always be right here in my heart. And through your up days and your down days, there's one name that you can call on. Just say Jesus. I dare you to say Jesus. The days, the hard days, just say Jesus. And you don't call on him when things are going right, and you don't call on him when things are good, when things are perfect. You call on him every day. You call on him every day. And I guarantee you, he will not fail. He will not fail. When times get tough, that is, you need each other, and you need Jesus. Oh, just call on him. My name is Blandina Hughes. And my second family is the Love family. And as each time there was a Love born in the family, Sister Love made sure that I knew. And with her good friend and Sister Hilda White, it is so wonderful to see you. So in closing, I would like to say, God bless you, because that's who's the head of my life. And that is the reason that I'm standing here before you today, is because he is the head of my life. And my second daughter called me and she said, Blandina, I would love for you to say a few words. And I said to her, I don't know if I can keep it together. Well, you did a good job. But I kept it together. Yes, you did. And it's because of who's the head of my life and whose body is in that casket.
That's right.
So with that, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Come on, say amen.